Hello everyone, I do hope you're well. Now today is going to be kind of a different video from the norm because I'd like to share an experience with you that I had recently and shed some light in the hopes that it gets shared out with people who don't know about the things that happen in the animal agriculture industry. Something you might not know about me is that I have investigated farms. I have seen the conditions on many farms at this point, and I can say as somebody who has visited a lot of these places that it's not really shocking to find horrific conditions, to find animals who are dead, diseased in a really bad way. But recently I visited farrowing crates, and for those of you who don't know, farrowing crates are where sows or mother pigs go, and they are confined to this really tight space, which is the farrowing crate, so that they can breastfeed their babies who will go on to be part of the pork industry. They are confined to this space shortly before they give birth, and then for weeks they will be stuck in this space. I think the argument for these farrowing crates is so that they don't crush their babies, because they're in such a confined space. It's a very stressful space. They can be prone to squishing their babies. And let's be real, it's not for the interest of the babies. Otherwise we wouldn't have found their bodies dumped and discarded as if they didn't mean anything and thrown in bins. If they get squished and die, they're not going to make a profit for these people who are breeding them into existence and sending them off to probably be gassed. I want to share this because, as somebody who's seen a lot of footage and has seen it in the flesh, it's a very different experience because you smell it, you hear these animals, you get a chance to kind of see them, and when you're in the physical space of somebody, like, you are fully experiencing and get that chance to experience what it would be like for them. Now, these farrowing crates, as you can see from the video footage, they are very tight, but you don't really notice just how confined they are until you're up close. They can literally sit up and that's it for weeks. Now, I'm a pretty claustrophobic person. I think, like, a lot of people are, because by proxy, it's not very nice to be confined to a small space where you can't escape. So the thought of being in that situation for weeks is, like, disgusting. And I think it's testament to just how little animals are valued, because even considering putting them in that position, let alone putting them in that position in the first place, is just beyond. Like, how little do these animals have to mean for them to be put in these scenarios? It wouldn't even cross your mind to do that to somebody if you valued them. It was really disturbing to watch the babies. They're very young, they're very naive, they're wagging their little tails as they're breastfeeding, like puppies would. They're dreaming. It was just so hard to see just all of these babies, hundreds of babies, just knowing that they are going to be, maybe later down the line, somebody I see in a truck before they get gassed. As I said, there were babies discarded in bins. They mean less than shit, so they go in the trash. There was a body that had been there for a little while longer. They were covered in flies. Obviously, they couldn't be bothered to put their body in the bin. Yeah. And walking away, you just feel like a piece of shit. I don't know. I genuinely do not know how these people are able to do this, because I felt fucking horrible enough, like, just walking away. The thought of, like, profiting off that happening in the first place, I don't know how people sleep at night. It's something that I cannot understand. I don't think I will ever understand. And that's why I don't pay for it. I want to share this because, like, it's part of why I investigate these areas in the first place. Like, just putting it into perspective, because I think it's so easy in this societal structure, the way our relationship with other species of animals is, it's so disconnected. We are so far away from those animals. But I just kind of wish I could just take everybody to one of these places, because it reminds you that, like, as much as you want to deny and pretend things don't happen, like they're not happening, they are. Like, those animals are there right now. You know, they are stuck there, and if they don't die and are thrown in a bin, or later down the line when they're a bit older, you know, if they don't die from pneumonia or some other medical condition because, you know, they've been selectively bred in such a manner that leads to a lot of these health issues for them, then they'll end up being sent off to be gassed to death. And that's not like, you can't, that's going to happen. Like, it's absolutely going to happen. And like, if you can't justify it, you've not got a consistent position, and you just kind of like, no, it's wrong, and like, but you just, you know, you don't want to think about it. Like, don't think about it for your own comfort, but it's still going to happen. Like, and you can't make an argument for why that would be justified. And a lot of people will say, no, I you know, I feel bad, I can't like justify it, but nothing. Like, I could guarantee, you know, unless somebody has some sort of issue where they cannot empathize or feel any element of compassion whatsoever, I could then promise you that you would be so mortified. You'd feel this insurmountable pit in your stomach, like being there. It's like entering a dystopia. It's like, because they're so close to civilization, you know, they're just on the side of the road. It's like they're hidden in plain sight, and you just go to them like it doesn't, you know, it's like it's not even a problem. And then you go in, and yeah, it just feels like you're in some weird Twilight Zone or something like that. And then you go home, and you've got to like go about in civilization and act like nothing really happened. It's just an absolute monstrosity. And yeah, you think these things are bad enough if you've not seen it in the flesh. Like, it's just another world entirely. It's incredibly deflating, like, because you realize like there are so many animals in these facilities, and like you kind of then realize, God, yeah, it makes sense that trillions of animals are being killed, because this is happening everywhere. Like, even the best of the best, like that the farrowing crate that we went to, relatively clean. It seems like it's quite an efficient operation, but then there's these animals still dying, or they're being killed by their mothers or something like that. The mothers look so stressed out. It was like they were looking at us. And some of them seemed kind of protective, but for the most part, they just kind of look like they've given up. You know, just when like a dog, just they're going through like such a hard time and they just give up, and you can tell, and they're just not themselves anymore. That's kind of how it felt. Like, they were looking at me, and you know, I thought, oh, you might just associate me with humans and they might not be very nice to you. I don't know. I mean, like, no matter what they're doing is not very nice, but the pigs might not, you know that. But yeah, I would recommend to everybody, like, finding an opportunity to bear witness. A much better way to do this is to like attend a vigil, you know, where you're seeing these animals moments before they're going to be killed, or maybe they're being sent to like some sort of market where they're being sold off to be exploited further and killed at a later date. But it's just so important to actually see these animals in the flesh. Like, a lot of people just kind of think, oh yeah, kind of, you know, nice to be looking out for these animals, but meh, you know, other things going on. But when you see them up close, you see, you know, there is somebody there. There are many somebodies there, and they like will never be seen. They'll never be they'll never have their day of freedom. They, you know, some of them will never see the sunlight, except maybe on their day of killing. And I just don't know when it's gonna stop. Like, I just don't know. But I can confirm, these places, even when they are clean, they're a big operation, it's absolutely atrocious. And as I said, the fact that this is even something that people consider doing to these animals just demonstrates how little we value them. But for the same reasons we value humans, we value dogs, we value cats, pigs possess those same attributes. So how are we justifying doing this to them? But I thought I'd share that with you. Please share the footage out. I've put like a short version, like a reel, on my Instagram, on my Twitter. Please just share it out, because it takes a lot to go there. It's very painful. So if I know that I can get like as many people as possible like seeing it, and it spark up as much conversation as possible, then that would be very helpful. And I want to say thank you to anybody that's supporting this channel, because typically like this sort of thing doesn't really get too much coverage on this channel, but obviously I try and put it elsewhere. So thank you for supporting, because it aids in this work as well. But yeah, I'm sorry that this is a sad one, but when you go to these places, you just want people to know, but you can't fully experience the physically being there, and to actually experience that, to be stuck in that situation, like, I can't even fathom. But thank you so much for watching. Please share out the footage that I've been putting out on various social media platforms. I do hope you're well, and until next time, I will see you soon.